All right, here we are, hanging out. My name is Sean Oberquin, the guy who built Stock Shows Coast to Coast, creator of Cherokee TV, and hanging out here with Lamar Simpson. And we're going to be talking about safety training. We're going to be talking about sheepdog. We're going to be talking about how to protect yourself out there. It is a crazy world that we're living in right now. You can see that he's a little frazzled today. You know, he just lost somebody, a drunk driver, just went and took a buddy of his out on a motorcycle. And, of course, I've lost, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 members of our riding community in the last couple of weeks from, you know, people hitting them on their motorcycles. It's really sad. But we're not talking about motorcycle deaths today. We're going to be talking about firearms. We're going to be talking about how we can protect ourselves. And I think most importantly, our real estate agents, realtors, people who are going into people's homes and are unprotected. Sadly, you get a little 5'2" blonde realtor who's just trying to make a living to feed her son or her daughter or family or husband or whatever the case is, herself. And she goes into a home and she's raped. And it's happening, and it's not quiet, meaning it's not just an isolated situation. It's happening across the board, and it can happen at any moment. Sexual assaults, you're seeing even as far as inappropriate text messages, and you had one lady who was being stalked. She saved his life, and then he ends up stalking her and like shows up at her house or something.
Oh, that was the nurse that she ended up. It was at the job thing.
Yeah, but still, I mean, the same thing happens, though. I mean, same thing happens, you know, and it's really sad. You know, we might get a crush on somebody, and that crush might go a little too far, and that might go a little too far. You're making that person uncomfortable, and that person might need to protect themselves. And it's just, you know, there's so many different variables here, and that's, I think, what we really want to touch on today.
That's really it. It is just the going into the homes with people you just don't know. And we don't always have a situation where, you know, if you have something like an open house where we have teams of people, we have several people, those are always kind of the best ways to go. But sometimes if you have to make a living, you're going to have to sometimes meet somebody at a house, maybe alone.
So I used to film all of my shows at my home. A lot of you guys that watch my show have been to my home. Not the home that I live in now, the one that I had before, where I had the studio built into one of the bedrooms and we filmed everything there. The point I'm making is that I had a lady who came by. She wanted to move everything forward. We sent her over the invoice. She paid the invoice. She shows up. She's thinking she's in a high rise. She realizes it's my home. Immediately, she's like, whoa. And I'm like, I apologize. This is where we film. You know, this is what I do for a living. She goes, I'm not okay with this. I had to totally respect that. All right. I gave her her money back. We moved to be part of as friends. We still see each other on Facebook from time to time, you know, and it's just a little casual wave, right? But the point is that she didn't feel comfortable, whether it's something that happened already in her life or something that she'd seen on television or on the news or something that happened to a friend. And we have to protect ourselves. How do we go about protecting ourselves?
Well, that's one of that I think it's a very good point you make by bringing up. Yeah, obviously, in this case, you were not going to be looking to hurt, rape, or murder this woman. No, obviously, but for her to have that warning signal, that's really the first way that we do protect ourselves.
It's funny because I'm the one that's always protecting these people, right?
But they don't know you yet. They haven't gotten a chance to know you is what happened there. But the fact she did that was good overall because she listened to that voice inside her head. A lot of times when we see things that are happening to people, if we are lucky enough to, you know, go apprehend a person or that person is still alive, then, I kind of had this weird feeling, but if you have that weird feeling, don't do it. So no amount of commission that you're going to receive on a real estate purchase is worth dying over.
Losing your life or losing
or anything,
being raped or whatever, because we see it every single day. I mean, I live downtown, so we have transients all over the place. We have rapes. You and I have had this conversation before, but there was that lady who the transient approached her. She felt really off guard. I saw everything happening. I step in, kind of protect her. I have no idea who this woman is. Obviously now she's by my side, right? Because she sees me protecting her. I could be the bad guy as well, but I wasn't, and she understood that. And the guy gets all defensive and starts yelling and screaming all this racism, it's because I'm black, blah, 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 blah. Then a year later, we see the same situation with another woman. Well, this woman essentially attacks me. This guy's not doing anything wrong. You're just doing this because he's black, because he's homeless. Blah, blah, blah. Thinking, like, I am half ethnic already, and I work with the homeless. Like, you're telling me that, you know, I'm just trying to protect you. It's like, all right, just end up in the trunk of a car, right?
Right.
Well, then I talked to that first woman again because she got attacked by another man, this time a white man. And I said, you know, I'm really sorry. And of course, I was there for that one. I said, I'm really sorry about what happened. And she goes, this is the third time. The first guy did it twice. And I went, oh my God, are you serious?
It is have so people who do have this tendency to attack people or to take advantage of people. It's not something they stop unless they're put in jail. It's just a way.
And then they're not. And then they don't stop once they're put in jail.
Then when they come out, they start it again. So they may stop with that person. So what we want to do and what we teach in this women's class that we're discussing now, which we have coming up very soon, is how to be situationally aware and how to also not look like a good victim, right? So we don't want, the first thing we want to do is not walk around looking like, hey, that's a good person to attack. It's things like, you know, you're looking at your cell phone while you're walking, not paying attention to your surroundings, you know, having very slumped over, kind of unsure body language,
that
those
I've
type of
noticed
things.
when I walk my dog at night. Sometimes because it's cold or whatever, I'll wear my hooded sweatshirt. I also wear my hooded sweatshirt because I look like a criminal in a sense. So no one's going to go and jump a guy who already looks scary, right? It's almost like
usually when you're walking a dog, that you're not going to have. They're not going to usually approach someone with a dog as dogs.
Yeah, but I'm also wearing. But I'm also wearing my chain, and you know, I'm all kind of. Maybe I'm walking with a little bit of, you know, and I got my Harley Davidson with my hoodie on. I don't look like somebody you want to approach at night, right? The point I'm making though is once I put the hood on, I cannot hear anything that's going on behind me, around me, anything. And
you're doing one better because at least you're not. Have you ever seen the people that have the two earplugs in?
Every time I go anywhere downtown, I'm trying to pull into my parking spot, and the guy just rolls by on his jump scooter with his earbud. I don't know how he hears anything.
Well, they don't, and that's the thing. When you can't hear, when you can't see, those are two really big things. So, and you can't see because you're looking at your screen, right? You can't hear because you have your music playing or your podcast or whatever it is you're listening to. I always suggest we should have one in and one out so we can kind of still know what's going on.
I suggest just not listen to your crap in your house.
I mean, if you really, really have to have it, then don't have both of your ears blocked, right? The other thing is having, you want to have a very confident way of carrying yourself. If your head's up high and you're making eye contact with people, they know you're there, you're less likely to be attacked. But here again, we're talking in a being downtown or being in a crowd. What we're really focusing on today is
the realtor.
One-on-one. You're alone.
You're alone in that house. There's not a dang thing you can do.
So Sacramento is #1 in the nation for sex trafficking.
We know this. Yes, we've talked about.
So if you don't think, I mean, and I know these ladies are coming on it, they're putting a nice picture up. They're pretty girls. Guys are looking at that. They're saying, hey, if I can get you to meet me at this weird time of day at this house, I can take advantage of that. And it's not even always looks, because rape is not as much about that as it's about power.
It's a power thing. It's not.
So in San Jose, that there was an older realtor that was in the same situation. I think she was late 50s, early 60s. They actually caught her, killed her. They found her body weeks later. So this is a real thing. When you're going into these houses with these people who think these things can happen, sometimes when they're calling you to meet you, they have no interest in that house. They have an interest in you.
Now, with your class, when somebody takes your class, are you teaching them if somebody is looking at buying a house, they're obviously asking X number of questions pertaining to that house. If they're not looking at that house, obviously they're going to still ask questions about the house, but is there a psychology to this that you're teaching for people to kind of like, okay, something doesn't seem right here?
Well, we're teaching people to especially, again, I'm not a realtor, so I'm not an expert, but what I tell them is, you know what you're doing. If something feels off, don't take the appointment. Ask the right questions that you would, like how you would qualify anybody. In my financial planning business, I qualify people on the phone. If it doesn't sound like the type of person that I would deal with, I would, and this is not from a rape standpoint thing, but it's like, hey, okay, well maybe
but you still
maybe we don't do this. Maybe we don't jive as well. Maybe
correct.
Maybe we don't work.
You still have a feeling that whether or not you want to work with somebody.
Right. So that we're looking for that same feeling when you're talking on the phone. But what we're actually tackling is once you get there, be aware. So I would get there long before and watch the person walk up. Things like that. Is that a
Not
person
only
I want to talk to?
know that property, know where the exits are, where the rooms are. Is there somebody already in that house? I mean, there's a lot of things.
And I can tell you that there's a lot of women who have come through that class that are realtors, and some of them are now CCW holders. So that is a great equalizer. Now we do go over other things. We have that, we have
the same self-defense.
The self-defense stuff. So we work with Pharaoh Stanley Taekwondo, Pastor Brian Kropp, and he spends a couple hours there with you and teaches you, hey, what if you're in that house and somebody all of a sudden they grab you? What are you going to do? We go over other tools that you can have with you, whether that be a pepper spray, a Kubotan, or a keychain. A couple little things that we can do that are legal for you to have. You can have them in your purse, you can have them in your pocket. Those sort of things so that you can have access. If you pepper spray somebody, they're not going to really want to attack you anymore for at least a very long time. Long enough for you to get to the police and say,
right,
hey, and he's going to have to go get the eyes rinsed down because that stuff is no joke. It can last for 24 hours sometimes. So you're going to identify someone that way. Tasers are another thing. So we talk about a lot of different things that you can today go to a place, buy it, stick it in your purse, carry it on your person, and if you are attacked, you can use it. And we go over a lot of that. The hand-to-hand stuff is not really a joke either. I mean, you should continue it. It's something that you want to practice, but there's 4 or 5 simple moves that we can teach you within a couple hours and really fine-tune those where you can cause what we like to call medical implications for a person. We want to be able to hurt somebody, right? If we have to. We don't go seeking to hurt someone, but if they're seeking to hurt you want to be able to do it back, right?
To, as you say, equalize it. Yeah.
Right. So we go over those sort of things, and really the biggest part of this whole thing, I mean, firearms are a big part of it. That's kind of what we do, and I do believe that a responsibly armed citizen is a safe citizen. Somebody who is following the law and is granted a Second Amendment right. If you feel that that's a comfortable lifestyle for you, it's something you should absolutely do. And I think realtors are number one. I mean, really, you're out. Someone can call you out in the boondocks. I mean, I have one realtor friend. I've known her for many years, and she met me out at a property that she wanted to see that if I liked it or something, and I was like, it wasn't really in the market. I said, yeah, sure, I'll meet you. But she showed up, up and way past kind of El Dorado Hills in the boonies, like the Grizzly Flats area, by herself. And I'm like, you know me, but would you typically meet someone like this? Oh yeah, I do it all the time. Like, why would you do that? Like, you are so far away from anything. Even cell signal was bad there. So really seeing those things. I mean, even if you are going to get to the point where hey, I've got a taser, hey, I've got pepper spray, hey, I've learned this martial arts, and now I feel like I can protect myself. Sometimes it's just common sense. Why not just bring a buddy with you? I'm not saying it has to be a guy.
Well, no.
Team up.
No, but not only that, I've had many realtors over the years that say, hey, Quinn, I don't know where this person is. Something doesn't seem right. Can you? And then I'm just the big bad scary wolf that comes out and just kind of keeps things,
And those are the people that do that are smart. Have someone with you. I mean, even if you can't handle the situation, you're going to have a better situation than if it was just her by herself. And at least there's going to be.
And the sad part about it is, it might be somebody she's already met.
It could be.
And then now he's got a partner.
Yep.
Somebody who can,
Many times these guys will feel out and, kind of get to know you, seem like the nice guy, and then wait for that proper time, right? And that's usually when we're talking of that stalker mentality where maybe in the beginning that wasn't the case, but he shows up, sees you,
he got obsessed, and everything got weird.
And everything gets strange. And we know there's mental illness and there's stuff like that out there, but this doesn't mean that we have to become victims because of those things.
Okay,
right?
So people, realtors, I don't care if you're going into people's homes, you need to take the class. It's pretty simple. My wife has taken the class.
She has.
She has taken the class. It's funny because every time we go out for our walk, she goes, "All right, bring me an assailant." I'm like, I don't think you really want that. All right, guys, you have it. sheepdogdefensivetraining.net. Join the class. Just find out what it's about. Join the class. And if you've got any questions, you can always send a message to me or send a message to him. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, always a pleasure to work with you.
Sir. Appreciate
it. You need anything. And also make sure to hit and like and subscribe. We got tons of stuff we're doing in the community. Obviously, JRQ TV is community based. So hit that like and subscribe button. And of course, get to know the people in your community. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.